All right, music fans, welcome. Harmless Dave here, talking real music in real time for a few real people just like you and just like me. So, ginormous tour for geezer rock fans. If you like REO, Speedwagon, and Styx and Loverboy. Hey, Loverboy gets on there. That's cool. One for the Canadians, right? Is anyone playing Loverboy anymore in the United States? I mean, yeah, maybe Working for the Weekend, you might hear it. No Turn Me Loose. No, The Kid Is Hot Tonight. No, any of the other songs on Get Lucky, which pretty much the entire album is amazing. Remember Take Me to the Top? When's the last time you heard Take Me to the Top? That weird synthesizer thing that begins that, and just an epic FM radio juggernaut back in the 80s. Gone. Does anyone ever play Almost Paradise? Nice little song with that lady, Ann Wilson. She's from Seattle and Mike's from Canada. So it's Northern Hemisphere. It's way up there, but I don't hear it. Maybe on a really good, deep cut, soft rock station, if that exists, you might hear it. The point is, Loverboy has basically been focus tested out of most of these greatest hits formats. It's really criminal. And most of the Canadian bands in general. I didn't mean to go off on that tangent. When's the last time you heard April Wine on the radio? Awesome band. And you don't hear them. Anyway, you got REO Speedwagon. Kevin Cronin did this nice little promo video. They like to have fun with Tommy Shaw and the Dennis DeYoung minus Dennis DeYoung Styx, which I've railed as hard as you could rail about the situation. Like I say, I'd be happy if Styx would find somebody who could sound like Dennis, and I would just leave him alone. Look, you found somebody who actually replaced Dennis DeYoung. Good job. Dennis just wants to do one more tour. Apparently that won't be the tour that's happening next summer. There have been no announcements that Dennis is coming back to sing for Styx. So don't hold your breath or you might pass out. So you got Styx, you got REO. REO again with Kevin Cronin getting a little long in the tooth. All right. I saw this set up 10 years ago, maybe 11 years ago, where it was Styx, REO, and 38 Special. And 38 Special kind of mopped the floor with everybody, I thought. REO puts on a good show. They really do. But all of those kind of beefier songs from the 70s, they're really starting to lose something in translation because Kevin had a much more robust, lower register that really had some oomph in it. And now he's all singing from up in here. And it's a completely different experience. If you close your eyes and do an A-B comparison, it kind of doesn't even sound like the same guy. Kevin also used to hold his R's in the old days for whatever reason when he sang Forever. He would do that, and it was just a trademark. He doesn't do that anymore. Just saying. It's just because you've heard the songs so many times, and for you real pure REO fans, there's kind of no replacing Gary Richrath. Let's just be frank. Dave Amato, who's the current guitar player, he's really good. He's not Gary Richrath. All right, Gary Richrath was a beast. He was, again, one of those guys that I don't think people appreciated as much until everything, kind of went by and the dust had settled a bit, and people realized, oh, that guy was a slinger. He was a hero, guitar hero. Absolutely. So you're going to pay a lot of money to go see three bands, I believe. Styx will probably put on a good show. And you know what I would say about Styx? If they only perform the Tommy Shaw material, I think I would actually give them credit. I would say, look, the Tommy material, if you're going to just go out there and be this robust sort of earnest rock band with lots of testosterone, then just stick with the Tommy songs. No need to do Roboto or any of the Dennis songs, because that's just kind of saying, hey, we need to lean heavily on this guy who we don't like anymore. So lean heavily on Tommy. Just do the Tommy stuff. And do I dislike, people think I dislike Tommy Shaw. I don't. I think he's a great musician. And sort of his yin and Dennis's yang made Styx a thing. It made it work. There was creative tension there. There's no creative tension now. Everybody just wants to bang out progressive sounding rock that has a few melodic tendencies, borrowing from Queen and the Beatles and Kansas and all the usual places. But I don't know. I think some of it ends up losing its identity because Dennis kind of put his signature and stamp on the Styx sound. I think Styx will put on a great show. And I'm still not going to be purchasing tickets. And the main reason I won't be buying tickets for this tour is the fact that Live Nation is going to require a QR code. They're going to require paperwork. I had a patron who reached out to me earlier and said, hey, I was really looking forward to doing this. They don't understand how much business that they're losing. And I get it. They're probably going to get enough casual fans who all went out to Walgreens, and they're just so joyful in that process. Of course, by 2022, you're going to have to go to Walgreens probably one, maybe two more times. We don't know because, you know, the goalposts get moved every other week. We got the Dodge Omni thing happening now, right? The Dodge Omni variant, right? It's a big deal. People are freaking out because it's 18 times less lethal. So people are just, but it can spread. So people are freaking out about the Dodge Omni variant. And so I'm sure they're going to want proof of, you know, that you updated and your scorecard has all the holes punched when you bring it in. Your QR code has a little check mark, just like the blue checks over on Twitter. It's the same. Isn't it great how either you're part of the great, you know, collective or you're the great unwashed? And this is the ticket policy at Live Nation. So if you want to go see Loverboy, Styx, and REO Speedwagon, your paperwork has to be updated. And for me, that's just a non-starter. Ticket prices, I'm sure, are going to be up there. All for 3 geezer rock bands, one of which I'd want to see, and that would be Loverboy. And I'd rather see Loverboy by themselves so they can go deep into their catalog and pull out all these great songs that people have either never heard before or people have forgotten about. So that's kind of my take on the Styx REO Styx, Loverboy, whatever order. I think it's REO is the headliner, Styx is the tweener, and Loverboy will probably be the opener. And so if you get there late, you're going to miss the best band, I think. That's just my opinion. And I think that way because I've heard Loverboy. Mike Reno is still bringing it. His voice is really close to what it used to be. I know people make fun of Mike because, you know, he doesn't like the salad bar. I get that, but okay. So just sit there and listen. I'm sure most of the audience doesn't like the salad bar either, right? So just sit there and enjoy it. I know people are busting on Vince Neil for the same thing. The problem with that is, I don't know, maybe Mike has to do the same thing. Maybe Mike has to get into better shape in order to do this tour. Maybe there's a rider or an agreement written that's to say you got to do this in order to, you know, be a part of this tour. I don't know. I don't think there's much pressure on Mike Reno. The stadium tour is filling up way more seats, and it's supposed to be very lucrative with those ticket prices. And there's more riding on that than the Styx REO Loverboy thing. So that's where I think there's a difference. I haven't seen Mike Reno lately, so I can't speak to his appearance right now, but I know people bust on him, and they have, but most of the people in the audience, again, are in sync with the dietary habits of Mike Reno. So in any event, that's my video on the topic. I don't know, will people go to this? See, this is the big problem I have even prior to the QR code, is that we're starting to go down this road with these older bands where you start to think to yourself, this is just nostalgia. This is an event. It's a pilgrimage to see the brands that we used to love. And the brands don't resemble the brands that we grew up listening to anymore, musically speaking. You know, I'm the music observer guy, right? I'm not the brand observer. So if I go to events and I hear music that doesn't sound like the music I grew up listening to, then I'm thinking it's a failure. And I'm starting to think more and more that you need to recruit replacements. If you want this to go on and you want this music to go forward and sound authentic, then you need to find people who can plug in and do these jobs, do auditions. I mean, with all this AI now, you could probably screen like 1 million people to find out whose voice is the closest, and then start narrowing it down, you know, get like 100. And then it's not like a cattle call like in the old days, you know, recruiting for a rock band needs singer. No, you could probably just submit your voice and then they would go, oh, that dude sounds like Kevin Cronin. And I've not heard anyone who sounds like Kevin Cronin, especially in his prime. So that might be a difficult task. Mike Reno, I don't know. Dennis DeYoung, I know several people that kind of sound like Dennis DeYoung, and Dennis has said so too. He knows some people that kind of sound like him, but Styx chose, you know, somebody who doesn't really sound like Dennis DeYoung. Anyway, super long video. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. Quick little housekeeping note. I've been having some issues keeping up with all the messages I'm getting now. The reason is I'm the guy who actually answers the messages. And I do tend to go out and do things outside of just this channel. Like I will leave the house. I know some people haven't left the house in 2 years. I tend to do things with the family, and I just want to put that out there. So if it's something that maybe is just kind of like a hey, shout out comment versus a hey, something a little bit more meaty and substantive, try to just, you know, be selective. That's all I'm saying, because it's hard for me to answer them all. And then I end up answering with 1 word or 2 word answers because I can't get to everything. So I can't really be thorough. You know, I tend to want to be conversational with people. And so then I'm sitting there on the keyboard for like, I'm like, honey, sorry, I know I've been doing this for like an hour and a half now. And where did the time go? I don't know. A lot of people have great questions. A lot of people were talking about that Beatles Get Back thing that I watched for 6.5 hours. And yeah, that was kind of brutal to put in that much time. And people are asking me to watch other things. And I'm like, look, I just spent 6.5 hours with the Beatles. You know, I don't want to do this anymore. And I love the Beatles, but that was enough Beatles for probably a lifetime. I really don't need much more Beatles. So in any event, and again, no knocking the Beatles here. I'm just telling you, it was a long documentary. Okay. So there you have it, folks. Sorry to be the Scrooge or the Grinch here, but you know, 'tis the season.